Hello, this is Builder Elephant, and today we will be taking a closer look at the LEGO Looney Tunes minifigure series, set number 71030. This set came out back in 2021. In the 1930s, Merry Melodies and Looney Tunes would become part of the American Golden Age of animation. By the 1940s, these interchangeable Warner Brothers animation titles were brought under the single Looney Tunes name. Bugs and his cartoon friends were able to give Disney a fight for animation domination. Now, while Disney stuck with the wholesome family route, Warner Brothers made their cartoons less politically correct. The stories were often hyper-violent, used more adult humor, and subtle innuendos. This no-hold-barred approach set them apart from the competition. They also cranked out cartoons at an amazing pace. Warner Brothers produced almost 1,000 animated shorts between 1930 and the 1960s. Warner Brothers no longer releases Looney Tunes cartoons as often, but they still make sure to keep the brand alive and growing strong. This particular CMF series was released at the same time Space Jam's A New Legacy was hitting theaters. While we didn't get LeBron James as a minifigure, we did get the iconic cast of animated characters. Lola Bunny is the newest from the list of characters included in the CMF series. While all the other Looney Tunes characters originally appeared in the late 1930s to 1950s, Lola Bunny didn't make her debut until the 1996 Space Jam movie. Lola was created to give Bugs Bunny a love interest in the film. Lola is a straight-talking, no-nonsense woman who is extremely independent and confident. She was originally going to be even more of a tomboy, but producers feared she would be too masculine, so they had the artist put more emphasis on her feminine attributes. Lola would have the most detailed leg printing in all the characters from this series. Her medium lavender shorts have a black outline near the bottom. I'm glad these are normal length shorts and not the super short ones she wears in the cartoons. Her pink basketball shoes are where the real detail goes into the piece. The shoes have white soles and laces. The laces' position give us the illusion that she is wearing high tops. The tongue of the shoes is a medium lavender to match her shorts. The sides of the shoes have the small circle. This circle reminds me of the Nike pumps that were popular at the time Lola was introduced. The torso piece has her wearing a yellow cropped tank top. The bottom of the torso piece has the top of her lavender shorts. The piece description describes the center section as a belt, but this is actually her midriff. Just like Bugs, she wears a pair of white gloves. The tail printed on the back of the torso piece is also uniquely hers. The tail is more rounded and fits the cottontail bunny description much better. Lola was given a unique headpiece. The cheeks and nose are the same shape as Bugs Bunny, but with different printing. Lola has smaller incisors, and her mouth is not open as wide. While she does have the crinkles above her nose, she lacks whiskers. The top half of the head is where we're seeing the new form in the mold. Lola has long blonde hair on top of her head, and the ears are folded back. Both her hair and ears are tied with a scrunchie. It gives us the impression of long hair being tied back in a ponytail. To connect Lola with the Space Jam's theme, she was given a basketball. LEGO used an orange Technic ball joint to create the ball. While this is a common piece, only 5 other sets have it in this orange color. For those of you who have been watching my micro-build videos, you know I love these single LEGO pieces that are used to represent other things. While technically Bugs Bunny was created back in the late 1930s, he would go through lots of changes. The Bugs we know today would officially debut in the 1940s Merry Melodies cartoon A Wild Hare. This trickster rabbit could outsmart any hunter, duck, or alien. He has become a cultural icon and was an official mascot of Warner Brothers. His catchphrase, "What's up, Doc?" is universally recognized, and he is the 9th most portrayed film character in the world. The first is Sherlock Holmes. The leg piece is a light bluish-gray color. Small white paw patterns were put on the front of the feet to represent Bugs' paws. While the cartoon version has a larger area of white on the foot, I think LEGO made the right choice in making it smaller. It did a good job highlighting the toes. The torso piece is also mostly light bluish-gray in color. It has a large patch of white in the center for his chest fur. I like that LEGO included the gray lines near the top center. When replicating cartoon characters with simple designs, these small details are extremely important. The back has his rabbit tail printed on it. I find it interesting how sometimes LEGO draws the tails on and other times they get a character to have a separate tail piece. To capture the unique Looney Tunes art style, LEGO created a new mold for the rabbit head. Now, unlike Disney characters, where the male and female characters would have the same mold but different printing, the rabbit head and ears sticking straight up was made exclusively for Bugs Bunny. While the long ears, wide cheeks, and rabbit nose are great, it's those tufts of hair on top that show that LEGO cared enough to take the time to create every detail in Bugs' head. The printing made sure to also capture those important character details. The big front teeth, long whiskers, and crinkled skin on top of the nose look great. I love that LEGO went with showing us his open mouth and tongue, an important trait for a character who always has something witty to say, unless he's eating a carrot. For his accessory, Bug gets a carrot to munch on. Now, to match the carrots we see in the cartoon, LEGO used an orange carrot or club piece and a bright green carrot top or twig piece. When opening the blind bags, Builder Monkey, who is now Builder Cheetah, noticed that you get an extra twig piece with this set. This means people can pretend that Bugs Bunny not only has a carrot to eat, but has already finished one off. Wile E. Coyote debuted in the 1949 Fast and Furious cartoon. This genius coyote would continually try to capture the Roadrunner with his wits and complex gadgets purchased from Acme. Of course, his attempts to catch dinner always failed. Now, to be fair, most of this was because of cartoon physics, which allowed the Roadrunner to speed through pictures of doors while Wile E. Coyote would simply slam into it as a solid object. Unless there was a long drop on the other side. Wile E. Coyote rarely spoke, and usually used signs to communicate, but Mel Blanc would occasionally give him a refined, egomaniacal, almost English accent for those rare moments he did use his voice. The reddish-brown leg piece with six-toe pattern is an original piece. It looks very similar to Taz's legs, but our Coyote has a regular-sized leg piece, and the Tasmanian Devil used the newer medium bendable legs. Getting this new piece in different sizes is great for people who like to do custom minifigure work. The dark reddish-brown color is a nice option for minifigure creatures people might want to make. The rubbery tail piece is the exact same one used for the Tasmanian Devil. However, the reddish-brown fluffy tail is a handy piece to have. I'm okay with not having every piece used for this minifigure being unique. The reddish-brown torso piece is a great example of LEGO being able to help give 3D texture with 2D printing. The tan chest fur spiking out at the top does a great job replicating the shaggy-haired look of Wile E. Coyote. I like that LEGO used the zigzag pattern for the center of his chest instead of a straight line used in their cartoon. It helps make that messy hair pop even more. The rounded line around the middle, separating the chest from the stomach area, is great for our scrawny coyote. The new head mold is amazingly sculpted. Let's start with that long nose. It's not just a straight, elongated nose. LEGO included the wrinkles to create the saggy skin, a droopy black nose, and his lip underneath. The large, fluffy cheeks couldn't be a better match to the cartoon. The tall ears not only have the ridges along the outline to create the fur, but are also slightly curving forward. The furrowed brows, molded into the plastic, capture that determined look as he tries to catch dinner. The printing on the eyes highlight his predator nature. For his accessory, he comes with an anvil. I was extremely excited to see LEGO work with this classic comedic prop. The anvil falling on the head is a staple of the Looney Tunes slapstick comedy. The build itself is simple and effective. The 1x1 round tile with bar and pin holder looks nice as the base, and it allows it to fit into his hand easily. The 1x1 brick with stud on side is used for the main body. The cheese wedge slope creates the horn, and a 1x1 plate extends out the heel. And yes, I had to look up all those anvil parts on Google. The Roadrunner first appeared in the 1949 cartoon Fast and Furious, which begs the question, does Vin Diesel owe his career to the famous Roadrunner and Coyote cartoons? While most of the animal Looney Tune characters take a more anamorphic form, the Roadrunner looks like a giant bird. Although I've always thought he looked more like an ostrich than a Roadrunner. But since a real Roadrunner can reach speeds of 26 miles per hour and our cartoon hero has exceeded supersonic speeds, I think a lot of creative license is allowed. The dark orange leg piece has a line running down the center of the foot to create two of Roadrunner's toes. That small marking makes this an original piece. However, it was the leg piece that ruined the entire figure for me. The Roadrunner is shaped more like an animal than human, so giving him thick human legs instead of those thin bird legs destroyed the illusion for me. I think modified skeleton legs or maybe even two peg legs would have worked 1,000 times better. Now, this would have broken the 2 of 3 minifigure parts needed to be an official minifigure, but LEGO threw that rule out the window when they included Unikitty in the LEGO Movie 2 CMF series a few years before. I do like the rubbery tailpiece. This unique mold replicates the cartoon perfectly. I'm loving all these new costume tailpieces that come in the CMF series. The torso piece is the same mold used for Sesame Street's Big Bird. Rather than being a mono yellow color, we get a medium blue torso and blue bird wings. The piece does a good job matching the colors and simple lines used to draw the Roadrunner cartoons. Once again, we see the care LEGO took in creating these unique head molds. The neck might not be as long as the Roadrunners, but it's significantly taller than most minifigures. They not only have the beak curving up, but also manage to get the smile running along the side. This expression is so important for a character that is continually eluding his enemies' elaborate traps with the greatest of ease. I think it was a great choice for the Roadrunner's top feathers to be a separate piece for a couple reasons. One, having it part of the head mold would probably have been fragile and easily broken off. Second, the rubbery plastic does a better job matching the back tail feathers. For his accessory, the Roadrunner was given a bowl of birdseed. The 2x2 round dome bottom is not a unique piece, but this would be only the 5th time we'd see it in the sand green color. To raise the birdseed up so it looks to be piled high like in the cartoon, a round 1x1 plate was put inside. The bird seed was represented by an ice cream scoop piece. While this is a common piece found in over 100 sets, it would be the first time it comes in a yellow color. Tweety Bird made his debut in the 1942 cartoon The Tale of Two Kitties. Now, while sometimes referred to as a rare Tweety Bird to help plot points, Tweety is actually a canary. His name is a play on the words sweetie and tweet. The character was based on a Red Skeleton's character, Junior the Mean Whittle Kid. This sweet-looking baby bird has a malicious side and often kicks Sylvester when he's already down. While the introduction of the Granny character tamed his mean spirit and heightened his cuteness, we can still see that evil spark every now and then. Since Tweety is significantly smaller than Sylvester, LEGO used the short, non-bendable kid legs. The light orange leg piece had a black line down the center of the foot to create 2 toes. Now, many people complained about Tweety Bird being a minifigure and not a creature piece included with Sylvester, but I like getting him in a minifigure form. While this made his size proportions off, he was a big enough character among the Looney Tunes cast that he deserved to have his own minifigure and not be an accessory. The torso piece is almost completely yellow. There's a small orange line on the front to show us his chest. His little bird tail is printed on the back. While I think a rubbery tailpiece would have looked better, it also would have added more height to this figure. Since people were already complaining about Tweety's size, I see why LEGO would make this choice. The head mold used for Tweety did an amazing job capturing all those great character details. The chubby cheeks on the bottom, tiny beak, large cranium, and 3 tufts of feathers on top are a perfect match to the cartoon. The printed eyes capture that sweet, innocent look of this mischievous bird. The long eyelashes were a must. Tweety probably came with the most complex accessory from the series. He was given a mallet made from 6 LEGO pieces. Now, a mallet itself is nothing special. I mean, Harley Quinn might disagree, but we've seen these builds a lot. However, the oversized weapon used by such a small character lives up to that zany humor found in the Looney Tunes cartoons. Sylvester James Pussycat Sr. would make his first official appearance in the 1945 Life with Feathers cartoon, but earlier versions can be found back until 1939's Naughty but Nice. He's usually the antagonist of the story as he chases after Tweety, Speedy Gonzales, or Hippity Hopper, but sometimes he gets to be the hero. Sylvester tends to spray people with saliva as he talks with a lisp and his tongue is hanging out, and his catchphrase, "Sufferin' Thuckatash," is one of the top Looney Tune lines ever. The black leg piece with white paws looks great. Black lines on the front area give him 6 toes. What I love most about the printing is the separation from the white paws and black legs. Usually, we see a straight line separating the foot from the leg, but this time LEGO put rounded bumps to simulate the different fur colors coming together. The rubbery cat tail piece has been used a lot, but this would be the first time we get it in black with a white tip. It's amazing how just a splash of color can add so much to a simple piece. The black torso piece has a larger patch of white fur printed on the front. The belly fur on the minifigure is much more elaborate than what we typically see in his cartoon appearances. In the cartoon, Sylvester's white fur runs in a smooth line from his head all the way down to his legs. But the minifigure's white fur printing stops near the neck and is not on the leg piece at all. The flared ends on the top are a nice way to give the chest fur more area to cover and trick the eye into seeing a closer resemblance to the cartoon. White hand pieces were used for his paws. The headpiece did a fantastic job capturing the shape of Sylvester's head. I love the oversized patches of fur puffing out his cheeks. The large red nose and printed whiskers add some great detail. The pointy ears and tufts of hair on top round out the character's detail. I'm glad that LEGO took the time to print the white onto his ears. It's those small details that make recreating these simple cartoon drawings into more accurate and recognizable LEGO minifigures. Sylvester was given a baseball bat for his accessory. Now the baseball bat has appeared in 5 other sets so far, and 3 of those come in the same medium nougat color. Now despite this not being a unique piece, I like it a lot. The white grip on the bat looks nice, and getting sports equipment is useful for people who like to do mock and stop motion work. Plus, the character is known for using a bat in the cartoons. Daffy Duck first appeared in the 1937 cartoon Porky's Duck Hunt. Now while Porkey Pig was the star of the show, it was the assertive, unrestrained, and combative new duck character that moviegoers couldn't stop talking about. Daffy was often used as a foil for Bugs Bunny, but he would go through many changes to fit the different stories he would appear in. Oftentimes, he would be the hero of the show. As a kid, Duck Dodgers was one of my favorite Looney Tunes cartoons. The leg piece is mostly black, with orange boots. It's hard not to compare Daffy without referencing Donald Duck. Here we have the exact same pattern used for Donald, but with different colors. The legs and hip being changed from white to black is obvious. Less noticeable is the switch from a bright orange to a straight orange feet and leg coloring. Daffy's rubber tailpiece is also the same mold used for the Disney Duck characters, but we would get it in black for the first time. I love getting the new colors because it opens up a lot more custom minifigure options. The torso piece is almost completely black. The only color we see is the white lightning bolt pattern on his chest, which means he has either survived the killing curse from Voldemort, or it's supposed to represent the chest feathers. I'll let you decide. Daffy's new head mold is where the detailed work presents itself. The long orange beak that extends to the side of his head is perfectly shaped to match the cartoon. I'm glad LEGO got this part right because Daffy's bill is consistently spinning around, falling off, and moving to different positions of his head. The beak is a character in itself. His long neck has the white ring painted around it. His large oval eyes go all the way up to his domed skull. LEGO made sure to include the 3 tufts of feathers on top. For his accessory, Daffy was given a yellow sign that reads, "Rabbit Season." This prop was built by using a 2x2 square road sign with an open O-clip in back attached to a reddish-brown 4L bar. I love this accessory. It's a great reference to the classic Looney Tunes joke of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck flipping the hunting sign around to Rabbit Season, Duck Season, Rabbit Season, Duck Season, so Elmer Fudd will try to shoot the other one. That is until it's Elmer season. Speedy Gonzales first came out in the 1953 cartoon Cat Tales for Two. but would not appear in his current form until the 1955 animated short named after him, Speedy Gonzales. He was put in the traditional outfits worn by males in rural Mexico villages at the time. This plucky, energetic character was the fastest mouse in Mexico and a hit with the lady mice. He spoke Spanish and English with an exaggerated Mexican accent. In 1999, his cartoons were shelved because of fears over ethnic stereotypes used. However, Latin American communities loved this quick-witted hero who always bested his opponent. The League of United Latin American Citizens called him a cultural icon. In 2002, his cartoons were brought back, but with the disclaimer about the time period they were made. Since Speedy is significantly smaller than most of the other characters from the series, he was given the short, non-bendable kid legs. LEGO still managed to pack the leg piece with amazing detail. He has plain white pants, and we can see his medium nougat feet. Black lines were drawn on the feet to create toes. I love the rubbery mouse tailpiece. This would be the first time LEGO created a separate tailpiece for their mouse characters. The lack of tail always bothered me for the Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and Itchy minifigures. The medium nougat tail looks great on the character, and I hope we see it for future minifigures. For his torso piece, Speedy was given a white shirt with a red neckerchief. You can see the fabric tied in a knot in the center. The creases in the material as it comes out of the knot are a great detail that brings so much more life to this two-dimensional image. The large yellow sombrero and head are a single piece. This made Speedy very easy to find in the blind bags. This mold does a great job capturing the mouse's face and his distinct hat. The strands of his hair sticking out the front and small pointed mouse nose are well done. I love how they have his ears being pushed down by the large brim of the sombrero. I'm glad they took the time to color in his ears. The light tan color adds so much needed detail, but it also puts a total of 5 different colors being used on this single face piece. For his accessory, Speedy Gonzales was given slices of cheese. This new printed piece looks amazing. The Swiss cheese printing on a yellow slope is perfect. The nickname of the 30 1x1 by 2/3 slope piece is a cheese wedge slope, so I'm shocked this hasn't been done before. Now, CMF characters usually come with only 1 or 2 of these printed tile pieces, but this time we get 3. Getting more pieces is always nice, but it's also a nice character reference. Since Speedy Gonzales can snatch up more cheese than a normal mouse, it's only fitting that he gets more cheese pieces than normal. While the set technically comes with 3 of these cheese pieces, chances are you also got an extra piece and now have 4 in your collection. The Tasmanian Devil originally appeared in just 5 short films, before Warner Brothers cartoons shut down in 1964. However, this ferocious, dim-witted character became a fan favorite. Just like Taz could never get enough food, fans couldn't get enough of him. He would be featured in movies, video games, merchandise, and even get his own cartoon. As a kid, I loved when Taz would spin around like a tornado and eat everything in his path. It didn't matter that I couldn't barely understand a word that was coming out of his mouth. The reddish-brown leg piece might appear simple, but this is a unique piece. It uses the newer medium bendable legs and has 3 toes printed on each foot. The toes add nice texture, and using the medium bendable legs not only gives us better posability, but also makes sure he's shorter than the standard character, but not significantly short like a mouse. Taz comes with a rubbery tailpiece. This would be the same tailpiece used for Wile E. Coyote. Now, while this series is the first time we've seen this fluffy-shaped tail in a reddish brown, I would not be surprised if we see it again with other animal-themed minifigures. The monochrome reddish-brown torso piece will look familiar to Star Wars fans. This same piece is often used for Wookiees and Ewoks. LEGO didn't have to put any details on this piece because the large head will cover most of it. The oversized head used for Taz is great. For a character that will eat everything and anything, LEGO had to get this huge mouth right. The wide open mouth, saggy jowls, sharp teeth, and big tongue are a great match to the cartoon. There is so much printed area. I'm curious how this piece will hold up over time. I can see the piece getting lots of scratches on it. Now I love that LEGO took the time to put the little dots on his lip. The eyes do a fantastic job catching that crazy look. Each hair molded into the plastic is perfectly crafted. The tufts of hair on top add to that disheveled look from whirling around like a tornado. Two longer pieces sticking up resemble devil horns. The outline around the back and edges add to the thick layers of hair covering his body. For his accessories, LEGO went above and beyond. To show his insatiable appetite, he was given a turkey drumstick and an entire pie. Now, while he comes with the standard 3x4 tile piece with 4 studs in the center used for CMF stands, he was also given a second base. This extra stand consisted of a boat stud put under a 4x4 round tile with 2 studs. The round tile piece was decorated with black, light gray, and dark azul swirl patterns to represent the whirling vortex as Taz runs around. Now theoretically, you could put the minifigure on it and spin him around like a top. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that well. Which is surprising, since Ninjago Spinjitzu has given LEGO lots of opportunities to perfect their LEGO spinning technology. This alien from outer space first appeared in the 1948 Daredevil Hair cartoon. However, he was unnamed in his debut appearance, and referred to as either Commander of Flying Saucer X2 or Antwerp for future appearances. It would not be until the 1979 The Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie that he would officially be called Marvin the Martian. No matter what he's called, this short Martian was loved by fans, even though he was obsessed with blowing up the Earth. Marvin was given medium bendable legs. I love this piece because it gives us posability for these shorter characters. Now the legs are mostly red, but LEGO made sure to give him those white basketball sneakers. Now while they're not as big as Marvin's cartoon shoes, they fit perfectly with the minifigure style. Marvin was also given a paper dress piece. This 6-point Roman skirt matches the cartoon and is a completely new shaped dress piece. Now personally, I've always envisioned Marvin's dress made of metal. For that reason, I would have rather have had a piece made of hard plastic. But this is completely based on my personal preference and not a negative critique of LEGO's choice in materials. The red torso piece with white gloved hands fits Marvin the Martian perfectly, and Santa Claus. Actually, this piece is used for lots of characters, but it doesn't diminish how nice it is for our favorite Martian. No, not that one. Or that one. There we go. The head does give us another unique piece. This black head with large white eyes looks great. And while this was not a very difficult look to replicate, I can't help but think this simple design could be very useful for a lot of custom minifigure work or Halloween mocks. The helmet had to be done right, and LEGO nailed it. I love this piece. Marvin's iconic helmet was molded after the Gallia helmet worn by Roman soldiers. This distinct helmet was also worn by the god of war, Mars, who Marvin's home planet was named after. Of course, rather than ornamental feathers, Marvin had bristles of a push broom. They're called Looney Tunes for a reason. For his accessory, Marvin was given a ray gun. Now, using the existing LEGO Space Ray gun with rounded heat diffusers was a nice choice. It didn't require making a new mold. Plus, Marvin's A1 disintegrating pistol would look like a real gun and go against LEGO's not making war fun policy. Now, while we have seen this piece in white and a flat silver, this is the first time it would come in lime green. It's interesting that LEGO went with a green color instead of a light orange, because typically Marvin uses a light orange or yellow gun. Petunia would go through a major personality change from her first appearance in the 1937 cartoon Porky's Romance. While she started out as a mean, selfish, and snobbish girlfriend to Porkey Pig, she later became extremely sweet and kind-natured. She regularly appeared with Porky's gang of friends in the early days of Merry Melodies, but when Porky became more of a sidekick character to make way for the newer and more popular Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, she was used less and less. And while she still pops up in Looney Tunes cartoons and merchandise, she's basically a background character. Petunia's leg piece has some great details put into it. The black hooves are nice, and we'll see them again with Porkey Pig. But the white bloomers are fantastic. LEGO could have just drawn a straight line, or even used the wavy pattern we saw with Minnie Mouse. But They put little circles along the bottom to give it a lacy look. I really appreciate those little details that LEGO puts into their designs. She comes with a hard plastic dress piece. Now, while this is not a new piece, this would be the first time we'd get it in a solid red color. Her torso piece is very basic. She has a short yellow sleeve shirt with a simple collar printed on the front. This style reminds me of what we saw with the Simpson minifigures a few years before. Now, I can see this piece being used for custom minifigures based on older cartoon characters. The headpiece was anything but simple. The lower part of the piece is exactly like Porkey Pig's. The cheeks and nose are the exact same shape. Even the mouth and eye printing is the same. But once we get to those long eyelashes, the real differences are obvious. The long black hair with red bows in her pigtails are amazingly well detailed. The ears sticking out the top are the same as Porky's, but having them poke through the hair makes them look different. For her accessory, Petunia came with a teapot and teacup. These items are very handy for mock work and fit the character. However, they feel completely uninspired. I've been collecting the CMF series for a long time, and it seems like lately, the teapot, teacup, or combination of both have been popping up in almost every other minifigure series. Porkey Pig would be the first Looney Tunes character created that is still recognized today. He debuted in the 1935 animated short, I Haven't Got a Hat. Now, while this was a minor role, it would launch him into stardom, and he would be the head of the Merry Melodies and Looney Tune cartoons until the more zany characters like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck were introduced. However, this straight man character was still popular with fans, and he remained a key player in the Looney Tunes stories. Interesting fact, Porky's famous stutter is because the original voice actor, Joe Doherty, had a real stutter he couldn't control. Unfortunately, the long sessions needed to record his lines became too expensive, so other voice actors were brought in. Mel Blanc took over the role permanently in 1937 and fine-tuned Porky's stutter to a comedic perfection, and that's all, folks! Porky's leg piece is simple, but what do you expect from a character that doesn't wear pants? LEGO made sure to put black hooves on the front of his feet. The rest of the piece is a light nougat color to match Porky's skin tone. The torso piece gives us a lot more detail. We get the classic blue jacket and red bow tie. Now, I'm not sure why, but they also gave him a light white shirt. Now, maybe they thought that an actual shirtless and pantless Porky Pig looked too much like a Chip and Dale dancer. I like that the jacket is bunched up in the back to expose Porky's tail. The printed curly tail looks great. The small lines in the fabric help give texture to his clothes. The headpiece gives us another new head mold. The lower part of the piece looks exactly like Petunia Pig. The chubby cheeks and pig nose are a perfect match to the cartoon. I love his open mouth with tongue sticking out because of Porky's famous stutter. The eyebrows on top highlight the expressive face as Porky tries to spit out his lines. The pig ears are simple but effective. The folds of fat that go all around the neck are fantastic. For his accessory, Porky was given a sign with the famous Looney Tunes ending, "That's all, folks," printed on it. The sign was created using 4 LEGO pieces. To get the 2x4 printed tile piece attached to the 4L reddish-brown bar, LEGO put a 1x1 round plate with open stud and a 1x1 1x1 bracket on top of the bar. Looney Tunes might not be as popular as Disney is today, but these iconic characters are still a well-known part of cartoon history. The simple printing and new molds did a great job matching the classic cartoon characters we've loved for generations. With only 12 minifigures, I'm hoping we get at least one more series based on the Looney Tunes cast. I would love to see Elmer Fudd, Yosemite Sam, Pepe Le Pew, Foghorn Leghorn, and even Granny. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe or check out some of our other videos. Until next time, let's keep building together.